and then I will give you the cue. Okay, sir. Dear participants, welcome to the third session of this STTP. So, today we have two experts with us. One is from GNFC Baruch and one is from GSFC Vadodara. So, I would like Ms. Dishanvi Das to introduce our first expert for the day, Mr. Samil Shah. Dishanvi madam, over to you.
Good morning and welcome to all. Today is our third day of STTP on expected knowledge and skill development for industrial practice. Our first session is delivered by our today's expert, Mr. Shomil Shah sir, on the topic hazard communication. He is working as a safety manager in GNFC Bharuch from last 13 years and he successfully commissioned TDI plant only in a toxic plant in India as a safety officer in 2014 and 15. He is a regular part-time faculty for the course of Safety and Environment courses conducted at GNFC, which is handled by Technical Education Board, Gandhinagar. He is a lifetime membership of IICHE since 2017. He completed his bachelor degree in chemical engineering from DDU Nadiad in 2010 and post diploma in a safety from GNFC in 2014, post diploma in environment management from GNFC in 2016 and process safety management in 2020. So now I request Mr. Somil Shah sir to share his knowledge and experience with us on hazard communication.
Yeah, very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank Government Polytechnic Valsad College for inviting me for this expert lecture. You have started a very good initiative on this STTP development program, and it's really a very good informative for the students as well as working professionals who have just joined the any industry to get some knowledge and share some knowledge. So I would like to thank to this college and faculty members working over there who is continuously giving their efforts to make such programs for knowledge sharing for the students. Uh, and my introduction is already given by the Shivani madam. Now, today's topic is on hazard communication. So, this I think there are number of students who has joined this presentation team meeting. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by hazard communication? Do you have any idea what is hazard communication?
Somil sir,
Yeah.
currently we have disabled the participant's mic. We can
Okay. 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 No problem. No
if,
problem.
if you want
It's okay.
interaction, we can open it, or we have thought that we
Uh,
can take the questions in the end.
okay. No problem. Take it on mute mode. On question answer side, we will discuss. No problem. Yeah. So let's start our presentation, and you will get an idea. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So hazard communication is basically talking about the hazards for the chemical which is being stored, transport, manufactured, and wherever it is possible, the storage of the chemical is there. Required the data, which type of hazard that chemical have. So in case of any emergency, how to handle that chemical, it is very essential. Nowadays, in the industry, it is very crucial and very important. Whichever chemical is being handled, it is required to be in a very safe manner. Means you are producing one chemical, or you are storing some chemical. It requires uh, a lot of safety behind them to take in a safe condition. For that, one of the parameter or one of the communication medium is hazard communication, from where all the information regarding chemical is being transferred to working over workers, employees, our vendors, third party contractors, auditors, and management. So it is a very essential and crucial information regarding any chemical which is being handled at industry or at the transportation side. So to provide employees with information to help them make knowledgeable decision about chemical hazards in their workplace, it is a very much crucial, as I said, that it is a very much important in terms of information regarding the hazardous chemical you being stored. So what is the standard requirement? So written program for each location to cover issue of chemical safety and hazard communication. Wherever you are storing any chemicals which has a very hazardous in nature, there is a written program or written instruction is being displayed at the location about the chemicals which you are handling. Then labels. The the chemical is categorized in various way, like flammable chemicals, corrosive chemicals, toxic chemicals. I will show you the some slides with the symbol which represents the which category of chemical is this. So you will get an idea. This idea you will basically get wherever you visit to the any industry where storage of chemicals is being there, where road transportation chemical is being there. You will find so much information in this presentation, and you will correlate with this in your practical industry. So labels are required to identify the chemicals. Material Safety Data Sheet. Now it is called SDS, which is under Globally Harmonized System. See, GHS is an international system which is which is created by United States, and it is globally accepted standard under which this SDS is come. SDS is nothing but safety data sheet. You may, if you have studied the subject of safety in your engineering curriculum, then you might be go through the word about the MSDS, which gives the all information regarding the chemicals which is being handled at your site, right? Safe work procedures and practices. For that, this has communication is required. Employee training on STS information and safe chemical procedure and practices. So employees needs a training that how to handle this chemical, and in case of emergency how to deal with them. Everything is required on this particularly SDS training. When this training is required about the hazard communication. So when any new joining or any employee who has joined as a trainee or as an experienced person, it is required to know about the chemical which is being handled at their site. So at that time training is required. When you are introducing any new product or new raw material which is being introduced in your industry for some new plant, at that time this hazard communication training is required. In case of change in process means what? When you are changing any chemical for your better production, for your better efficiency, for your better environment, So chemical which is being introduced at that time in the change of process, the training is required as deemed necessary by the supervision or management. Whenever it is required from the top management, from the external auditors, then also this HASCAM training or hazard communication is required. Right to know law. Ensure all employees right to know the hazards of chemical they work with at their job. Mandates that employees must be provided with information about chemicals they work with. So it is one of the you can say legal requirement or mandatory requirement of any organization that whichever chemical is being handled at your site, everyone was aware, know, and being trained how to handle that chemical. So information on chemical labels, safety data sheet, training on hazard communication, written HESCOM plan, which I have already discussed. Now, why standard is necessary? So, to evaluate the hazards of all chemicals imported into, produce, or used in workplace in the country, prevent or minimize employee exposure to chemicals, and because of chemical exposure can contribute to serious health effect like heart elements, burns, kidney failure, lung damage, cancer, central nervous system damage. So standard is required for that. If standard is not there, then people will know or don't know about how to handle in case of any emergency, and such exposure may occur and which effect to human health on the following symptoms. So standard is required on that basis कि you handle that particular proper chemical in a proper way. A proper emergency procedure can be defined and you can evaluate that chemical, or risk can be identified and hazard can be communicated to all the levels. Now I talk about the globally harmonized system. So global harmonized system created by the United States or United Nations, also known as GHS, a system for standardizing chemical classification and labeling for worldwide implementation. ये एक ऐसा standard है, so जी जो आपको labeling दिखाएगा कि भाई इस chemical को इस तरह से labeling करना है, so it is a universally accepted standard. According to that, you will see in India, you will see in US, you will see in other countries also. So to provide a single harmonized system to classify chemicals, labels, and SDS with the primary benefit of increase the quality and consistency of information provided to workers, employers, and chemical users. So by this GHS system, universally accepted system, wherever you go, you will find the same parameter or same number at the universal. For example, some chemical has specific UN number, some chemical has specific HASCAM code. So wherever India is HASCAM code, wherever in US or wherever in Australia, the HASCAM code remains same for the same chemical. So you will identify from that code that this code is being used for the this chemical. No need to no need to like summarize, or no need to confuse that in India it is being used this, at other country it is being used this. No, it is universally accepted. So universally, whichever code is given for the specific chemical, it is being accepted universally all over there. Now updating GHS and HSC. See, once this GHS is being implemented, it is being reviewing and updating at every 2 years. Is there any addition of new chemical by research? Is there any changes in properties of chemical? Then it is also again being reviewed subject. So it is being reviewed at every 2 years. Then hazard communication standard to remain current can be updated by technical updates, minor terminology changes, direct final rules, notice and comment rulemaking for more substantive updates or changes. So any is there any technical updates if received, then also required to update the GHS standard. OSHA label elements for pyrophoric gases, single word danger, hazard statement, catches fire spontaneously if exposed to that. See, pyrophoric gases are that it spontaneously ignite into the atmosphere without source of ignition. For example, if you have a sulfur based catalyst in your industry, and if you put In summer at open, it will automatically ignite. So it is called a pyrophoric nature of chemical. So whenever there is a pyrophoric material is being stored, then signal word you can say it's a danger, and hazard statement what catches fire spontaneously exposed to air. Simple suspicion, it is a warning. What is simple suspicion? Whenever you find any oxygen deficient atmosphere, it is called a suspicion, simple suspicion. For example, nitrogen gas is a simple suspicion, right? In case of you are in nitrogen atmosphere and you will unable to get a fresh oxygen from the atmosphere, you will die after the some minutes. So what is hazard statement? May displace oxygen and cause rapid suffocation. Combustible dust. Again, signal warning is a single word is warning. Hazard statement may from combustible dust concentration in the air. One of the example of combustible dust is a coal dust. What is coal dust? See, coal is being used in a boiler to produce the steam and power. So coal is a very fine particles, but it is a combustible material. So again, when there is an hot summer around 45 degrees Celsius temperature, it also being a self-ignited as well as a self-combustible because it contains the carbon content. So carbon element has a that capability that it can catch the fire if it gets some ignition source. Hazard communication and chemical safety. Chemicals are all around us every day. Chemicals can be corrosive, reactive, flammable, explosive, oxidizing, inert. In many cases, the chemicals you may deal with at work are no more dangerous than those you see at home. But in the workplace, exposure may be greater concentration, higher exposure, time longer, potential danger could be greater on the job. See, what is being said in this slide? Uh, we are using, for example, we are dealing with the chemicals which at home like petrol. Petrol is being stored in our vehicle, right? So quantity of petrol and concentration of petrol, quantity of petrol is less at our work at our home place. But when you are storing, when you're talking about the industry, it's a huge quantity of petrol is being handled at that site. Here, that have so many big storage tanks for storing of the petrol, like our refineries, HPCL, BPCL, right, which are producing the petroleum products, being stored the petrol storage tanks, a big storage tank. It requires a lot many safety procedures, safety protocols, engineering controls to store this petrol. So many safety system is to be required when you are talking in terms of huge quantity for the industry. Other examples say if we are using acid in a 1 liter or half liter, right, with diluted concentration for our home purpose. But when we talk about the industry, it is in a huge quantity with high concentration, and it can burn if you are exposed to that acid directly on your body, right? So at that time required so many safety protocols, procedures, and system to store that particular chemical. So it is being more dangerous when you talk about the industry terminology. Now, routes of occupational exposures. See, any chemical which is being stored or handled at the industry, that can be goes in your body in a following manner. First is inhalation. Nearly all materials that are inward can be inhaled. Whenever you go in a plant area and some gas has been leaked, then one of the parameter, one of the source that gas can be inhaled is by your nose. So that is the inhalation. Skin absorption, as I talked that if acid is being leaked and it is directly contact to your body, then it can skin absorb, means it can go into your skin body, right? Then ingestion. Most workers do not deliberately swallow materials they handle. Sometimes material is being taken by mouth, right? By mistake, then it is called the ingestion. Injection, normally associated with the blood-borne pathogens. So whenever any injection is being given at medical fertility doctors. Then at the time in injection also chemical is being used for your recovery treatment. So that is also one of the occupational exposure. Absorbed through the eyes. Some of the chemicals are like that, which can give irritantness or blindness in the eyes. So routes of the entry for the chemical is also from the eyes. If you are not wear the personal protective equipment at industry area. So these are the occupational exposure route by which the chemical can enter into your body. Then hazard. See, hazard is a very basic and common terminology that it can lead to the accident. If you find any hazard, then it can lead to any risk and accident. For example, you are sitting at your home, if you are right now, or in your classroom. So that may be possible that uh, fan can be ceiling fan can be dismantled from the wall, or it can hit your head, or short circuit can be happen in your room, classroom, or at your home, right? Sudden earthquake can be possible. So hazards are there, you cannot ignore that. That hazards is not lying, hazards are everywhere, wherever you're at classroom, at your home, at your industry, wherever. But the thing is that you have to deal with these hazards by providing safety measures. So a chemical can pose a physical hazard or a health hazard. See, hazards are so many types, but we are discussing about physical hazards and health hazard. Other than that, chemical hazard, fire and explosion hazard, biological hazards, radiological hazards, ergonomical hazards. There are so many categories. But if we are talking about this context of GHS standard, physical hazard and health hazard has been defined. So how the GHS is looks at this. So class, nature of hazard and category, degree of severity. तो आपका नेचर ऑफ हैजार्ड कैसा रहेगा और उसकी सीवियरिटी मींस अगर वो हैजार्ड एग्जिस्ट करता है तो उसकी सीवियरिटी कितनी है कि जिसकी वजह से एक्सीडेंट हो सके. So उस पे वो GHS is focusing on that. Physical hazard. So physical hazard are exhibited by certain chemicals because of their physical properties. That is the flammability, reactivity, etc. Uh, there are so many chemicals which have flammability property in by nature. For example, any hydrocarbon contained chemicals which has a flammability hazard in their basic nature property, right? So it is called a physical hazard. So these chemicals fall into the following classes: flammable liquids or solids, compressed gases, flammable gases, oxidizing gases, liquefied gases, explosive pressurized gases, refrigerated liquefied gases, dissolved gases. Organic peroxide may react explosively to temperature or pressure changes. Oxidizers, chemical that initiate or promote combustion in other materials. Pyrophoric materials may ignite spontaneously in air temperature of 150 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Unstable materials, water reactive materials. See, these are the categories of the chemical in which these chemicals has been defined. Like some of the chemicals are flammable, some of the solids are flammable, some of the compressed gases are flammable and toxic. Some of the gases are oxidizing in nature. Some of the gases has a frozen effect, like nitrogen and oxygen. When it is being liquefied in a cryogenic system, then it can give the frozen hazard, means cold burn can be happen. So it is categorized in that manner. Some of the chemicals are pyrophoric in nature. Then some of the chemicals when heated or pressurized it get unstable formation, and it will be create more hazards at the workplace, right? So these are the hazards are being physical hazards have been classified. Next is health hazard. Health hazard occurs when a chemical produces an acute or chronic health effect on exposed employees. Now, there is a two terminology in this: acute health effect and chronic health effect. See, acute effect is what it is being happen quickly when you are going in a plant or workplace area and sudden leakage of any gas with high concentration and you are exposed to them. It is called the acute health effect. You will get all of sudden any health effect like headache, vomiting, breathing problem, right? So these are the acute health effects. Another is a chronic health effect. Chronic health effect is like that you are going to your workplace every day, but the concentration of chemical is being exposed to that area is not much. For example, it is a point 0.1, point 0.2 ppm, point 0.5 ppm, but over a prolonged period of time, you will continuously going into that area and you will continuously exposing to that chemical for the say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Then it will give some indication in your health that you will find something breathing issues or can be depending on the chemical property. Sometimes headache, blood pressure problem, which can be uh, you can see in your body, or some metabolism change in your body due to continuous prolonged exposure of that chemical in a small concentration or in a small dose. So it is called the chronic health effect, and over a period of time cancer can also be detected. Corrosive solvents and other chemical substances can be potentially dangerous. Safe handling procedures: read container labels, check STS. See, there are many chemicals and solvents which are being handled at your location is corrosive by nature. So, whenever the corrosion property of the chemical is there, then it is mandatory required that you have to check the MOC and thickness of that line in over a period of time. Otherwise, what happen if you're not periodic maintenance of that particular line or wall or equipment, then that chemical can uh, corrode your equipment and it can lead to some big disaster, or you can say leakage over a period of time, and which came out to the atmosphere directly from the leaking point and create the more hazard at the workplace. So you need to review the SDS for that particular chemical and review the your maintenance procedure, then material construction, thickness measurement, everything you have to do on a repeated manner at every fixed period of the interval. Never sniff a chemical for identification. You should never smell by going to the site and smell that particular chemical, how this chemical is being smelled. Never do that. By the read of SDS, by the means of other person experience, you should understand the sniff of that chemicals, but never try to test and direct smell that chemical at the workplace. Use appropriate personal protective equipment wherever the required. You have to use the PPs. Now this is called a labeling. So you can see that at the left side, hazardous material classification is there. Wherever the chemical is category is different: oxidizer, acid, alkali, corrosive, which type of chemical is being used. Then hazard index rating for the container labeling. इसमें चार कैटेगरी है: health hazard, fire hazard, reactivity and target organ. On the left side, at the bottom, you can see a diamond where mentioned 1, 3, 2, right, and white. So this is a NFPA diamond where blue is stands for the health hazard, red is stand for the fire hazard, yellow stands for the reactivity, how the chemical is being react, and white is for the special hazard. So whenever you find any toxic and flammable chemicals, tanker or storage tank, it is a mandatory requirement that you have to display this NFPA diamond. So what this NFPA will give you the idea that how much chemical is being reactive, how much chemical is being flammable in nature, and how much chemical is being affect to your health body. So it is a mandatory required that you have to display this NFPA diamond at every storage tank which you are being handled, as well as the chemical being transferred from the tanker. This is required, as well as the drums in which you are transferring any chemical. This label is to be required to mention. It is a standard requirement as well as customer requirement also. Chemical labels: each container must be labeled, tagged, and or marked. Warning or danger will be listed on label. See, you can see in the right side that danger symbol has been displayed. Danger and below that poison symbol is displayed. Means what? This chemical which you are handling is a poisonous in nature, and written instruction is being displayed that do not breathe vapor or mist, do not get into eyes or skin or the clothing. Exposure cause weakness, headache, loss of consciousness, respiratory arrest, or that. So this type of symbolic indication and written instruction should be displayed. Whichever toxic poisonous chemical you are handling by drum, by tanker, or by storage, you have to display this on your each and every storage. Health hazard. You can see the symbol of health hazard in a diamond, which I have mentioned, as well as flame. So whenever you find such symbol, it indicates this, like it is a flammable in nature. It has a health hazard, more health hazard in nature. So health hazard will define like carcinogen in nature, mutagenicity, reproductive toxicity, respiratory sensitizer, target organ toxicity, aspiration toxicity, germ cell mutagens. See, some of the chemicals are carcinogen, which can lead to the cancer, are in nature. For example, benzene is a chemical which is carcinogenic in nature. So whenever you are dealing with the benzene, if you are storing benzene, if you are transferring uh, benzene into the tank, if you have drums of the benzene, then you have to display this symbol on that particularly storage area. So it will describe that it has a health hazard and needs to take it seriously. Same way, flammable. If your chemical is more flammable nature, for example, methanol, toluene, which has a highly flammable chemicals in nature. If you are storing such chemicals, then you have to display such type of symbol. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark will define what it is irritant. For example, ammonia. Ammonia by nature, it is an irritant gas. Skin sensitizer, acute toxicity, narcotic effect, respiratory tract irritant, hazardous to ozone layer. So wherever such symbol is being displayed anywhere, then it indicates such symptoms. For the gas cylinder, wherever you are storing gases in a pressurized form in a cylinder, then this symbol is required. Corrosion. Uh, there are various acids which is corrosive in by nature. So for that, this symbol is required. Skin corrosion, burns, eye damage, corrosive to metals, right? Explosion. एक्सप्लोजन के लिए सिंबल दिया गया है. Some chemicals are by nature in providing the explosion. Like for example, ammonium nitrate is one of the chemicals which is exploded into the environment when it is being ignited, or it can get some ignition source. Skull and crossbones. This is again the symbol of poison, which is very dangerous, and it can be fatal. It can get immediate death to the person if you are exposed to that particular gas or chemical. So it is acute toxicity. As we have talked about the SDS, that is a safety data sheet. So what safety data sheet is contain? Uh, जो आपका एसडीएस होता है उसके अंदर केमिकल नेम्स, विच केमिकल इज बीइंग यूज, मैन्युफैक्चरर इंफॉर्मेशन, लिस्ट ऑफ केमिकल इंग्रेडिएंट्स, permissible exposure limit and threshold limit value. Threshold limit value is what? The person can work with 8 hours without any adverse effect on his body in that particular atmosphere for the 8 hours, right? For example, ammonia has a TL value of 25 ppm. If you have 5 to 6 or 8 to 10 ppm of ammonia in that particular area, you can work over there for the 8 hours without any adverse effect on your body. But if it is beyond crossing the limit, then it can uh, effect on your, give some symptoms on your body, that you should alert and you should away from that area, because the concentration of ammonia being is increased. So that is called the TLV. That TLV value is also mentioned in SDS. Then any other exposure limit used or recommended by the chemical manufacturer. Chemical manufacturer ने कोई exposure limit दिया है, so that is also being mentioned in SDS. Then reaction with other chemicals, physical appearance, date of uh, preparation, then how to put a fire caused by chemical, how to handle spills, how to prevent dangerous exposure. There are 16 sections in SDS. Any SDS contains 16 sections, which are very standardized uh, at globally. First is identification, second is hazard identification, third is ingredients, fourth is first aid measure, fifth is firefighting measure, sixth is accidental release measures, seven is handling and storage, eight is exposure control and personal protection, 9 is physical and chemical properties, 10 is stability and reactivity, 11 toxicological information, 12 ecological information, 13 disposal consideration, 14 transport information, 15 regulatory information, and 16 other information. Whenever you go into the industry, you will find MSDS of any chemical in your workplace area, which chemicals is being handled. So all this information is being required, and to be aware about this information, which chemicals are you being handled at your workplace. So it is a mandatory required that you should know about this. Now let's take one case study. We will discuss one case study regarding the explosion of petroleum product from the storage tank, how it create a massive fire explosion and uh, affect to the nearby surrounding communities. So it is a Indian Oil Corporation Jaipur fire. Incident was around on 20th October. What is being incident, that is transfer of petrol from tank to BPCL through pipeline. The petrol is being transferred from tank to pipeline is the phenomenal process which is being to be carried out. What was the storage capacity? That is 60,000 KL of petrol, 40,000 KL of diesel, and 13,500 KL of kerosene. So at the time of closing stock, you can say petrol is around 17,810 KL of petrol is being there at the time of incident. Now, what was the happen? It is around the evening time of around 5:50 p.m. and you can see the storage tank, that is a 401, which has a storage of petrol of around 5500 kiloliter of petrol, and it is required to transfer to APCL by pipeline. You can see in the outlet directly connected to the storage tank, that is MOV, that is a motor operated valve, metro operated valve, beside that hammer blind valve, and उसके बाजू में है hand operated valve. See, whenever you are working in the industry, there is a some SOP, that is standard operating procedure, that you have to follow, and by that procedure you have to act on that. If you bypass that SOP and you work according to your knowledge, then it can be a mistake. And the same thing has happened over here. We'll see. See, you can see from this diagram that this is a storage tank, this is MOV, this is hammer blind valve, this is HOV, and this is a transfer pump. Now, whenever you have to transfer this petrol from by pump from tank to pipeline, then this is a blinded valve. So you have to remove this blind and you have to transfer. So what is the standard operating procedure? That first off you have to remove this blind, right? Then you have to operate this hand valve, and then you have to operate this MOV. This is a standard operating procedure, right? So likely sequence would be what? ऐसा हुआ होगा कि MOV has first open, then hammer valve open, and then leakage started. I will go through the video, then you will get the more idea. Okay, please go through this video, how they have done the mistake. Pipeline division. Tank lorry filling bay. Canteen. Main gate. This is aerial view of IOC terminal. Tank number 401A. All employees of general shift go home. Time 5 p.m. Only day shift employees are there just before incident. Position of staff members. Ashok Gupta goes either side of tank to call BPCL officer to come. Ramnivas Meena, Kripa Ram Meena, and Kailash Nath Agrawal. Param Meena, an electric contractor having tea and shoe walkie-talkie on table. Kailash Nath Agrawal goes home for personal work. Tank number 401A. Patrol trip by Ashok Gupta and Pipeline Division officer. Correct procedure. First step. Hammer blind wall to be opened. Second step. Hand operated valve to be opened. Third step. Motor operated valve to be opened. Press green button. Wrong procedure. Hand operated valve opened in place of hammer blind valve. Flow oil into Ramnivas Meena's eyes. Shouts by Ramnivas Meena. पेट्रोल लीक हो गया है, मेरी आंखों में चला गया है. Ashok Gupta. वाल बंद करो. Ashok Gupta rushed there towards to tank 401A. Ashok Gupta reached there. Ramnivas about to be unconscious. Ashok Gupta tries to close wall, but he could not reach there because of heavy thinking petrol was coming from tank number 401A. Ashok Gupta tries to pull out Ramnivas Meena. It didn't walkie-talkie. बचाओ बचाओ पेट्रोल लीक हो गया है रामनिवास को चक्कर आ गया है. In other side of canteen, Kripa Ram Meena, an electrical contractor, Hushar Singh, heard on walkie-talkie. बचाओ बचाओ पेट्रोल लीक हो गया है रामनिवास को चक्कर आ गया है. They rush towards tank 401A. BPCL officer Gurudev Singh Chambal, security person, ran and reached 401A. Kripa Ram Meena says, अशोक गुप्ता को हॉस्पिटल ले जाओ, मैं रामनिवास को लेकर आता हूँ. Kripa Ram Meena jumped inside. Ashok Gupta taken to guard near control room. Car pushed to gate, not start because of vapor in environment. Ashok Gupta taken away. Vapor spreads everywhere in terminal. Everyone runs out. Near bridge, GM, RSO, some officers and police tries to enter in terminal, but cannot they come back. Pipeline division, 4 officers dead in blast. So as it is being also mentioned in that video, that the SOP has been not followed, and he presumed that hammered blind wall is already in a open condition, so he directly operated HOV and then MOV. But it was mistake, and HOV is already blinded wall is already in a closed condition. So when he opened the MOV and tried to open that blinded wall, all of suddenly that petrol has been came out from that flange losing. So it is a very big storage tank, so you cannot immediate control that petrol can be immediately stopped. It will definitely be came out and the person got unconscious. Parallelly, still there is no fire, right? But what happened? What could happen wrong? When petrol is being leak, then definitely it has its own vapor in atmosphere. So vapor cloud has been formed surrounding the tank. It can goes again increasing due to more and more petrol is being leaked, and that vapor cloud is being become so bigger that it entered into the premises. Parallelly, one car has came, and when it is being get ignition source, and that petrol cloud is already there into the atmosphere, and petrol is very low flash point, so it will immediately catch the fire. Even a minor spark he will get, so it could get an explosion over there, and a big massive fire would occur. So as vapor clouds spread in such large area, the source of fire can be anything inside or outside the installation. The non-flame-proof electric fittings in administrative block located in the southwestern direction of the terminal or spark during starting of the vehicle at the installation, probable cause of the source firing. This could be investigated during after the investigation. This could be the one of the reason. Exact reason could not identify because it everything was burned out at that time. So where exactly the ignition source can be there, but there is some ignition source by the by from the car or by from the electric fittings or non-electric fittings which is being installed at the building premises. Non-availability of one of the shift workmen who was supposed to be on duty, control room remaining unnamed due to above, absence of specific written down procedures for the works to be undertaken and therefore reliance on practice, opening of the HOV before completion of hammer blind reversal operation, not checking the MOV for its open close status and not locking it in close position, not using proper protective equipment while attempting rescue work. So, what was the rescue operation in being done at that time? Within a minute, 2 dozen fire extinguishers were rushed to the spot because it was a very massive fire. 5 kilometer peripheral area declared as a dangerous zone. The surrounding area has been evacuated and power cut off. 5 lakh people shifted to the safe location. Many among those who were evacuated were the patients, doctor, and staff of the government hospitals and engineering and medical students of the 10 colleges. The injured have been rushed to the three major hospitals of Jaipur. 300 army men helped with the rescue of as some people were fear trapped into the depot. Cold water mixed with foam has been sprayed on the pipeline of LPG storage tankers located near the petroleum depot to keep it cool and unaffected from the heat generated from the fire. See, at the time of fire, it is required that the remaining storage, which is not being affected at time, that is to be cooled down. Otherwise, it will catch up into that fire, and again, more explosion would happen due to that other storage also. So, whichever storage is being safe or save at that time, it is required to cool down that storage tank to avoid any further major explosion. Precautionary measures were taken to rescue a nearby. indigenous bottling plant, right? So LPG bottling plant was there. It is being required to take necessary action over there, that fire cannot reach over there. Nothing much could done to extinguish fire until all fuel burn out. जब तक वो पूरा फ्यूल निकलेगा नहीं, बर्न नहीं होगा, तब तक हम कुछ नहीं सकते. Just we have to do the fire fighting over there, and the remaining storage which is not affected by fire, it is required to cool down. So it took more than 90 hours to control the or extinguish this fire completely. So what were the losses? 12 plus people died, 150 plus injured, 65 lakh dollars property or product damage, more than 80 lakhs liter petroleum product burned, environmental impact beyond imagination. Fire could seen from the 20-kilometer away. Classes of peripheral buildings were shattered, many vehicles badly damaged. It will take minimum 12 to 18 months to rebuild the facility. Nearby factory and houses also catch this fire. So what I mean to say that one small mistake of non-following the SOP could lead to the big disaster, and it will impact to everyone, government, company, environment, human, everyone will suffer from this. So whenever such storage is being handled, extra ordinary precautions to be required at every stage. No system or no lapses are acceptable to happen such type of big disaster. You can see this incident site, how this fire is being burn out. This is from the distance of some kilometers. You can see facility, all storage tanks burn out. So it is required that we should always take care in industry while we are working, because on our behalf, as a chemical engineer, as a shift engineer, uh, life of so many people are depending. Our one mistake or our person's one mistake can lead to a big disaster. So it is always to be safe, to do everything in a safe manner, follow the SOPs, and know about the chemicals, which is very much important. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. This one is a very informative session. This will really helpful to our participants. Now, participants, if you have any question regarding this topic, then feel free to ask. Sir is with us. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, ma'am, I have.
Yes, please.
Uh, good morning, sir. I want to ask you that our industry are, accepting the QR codes. Like, I have been got an opportunity to get engaged with an safety engineer because I know safety is a different branch. So he told me that there are many combinations of colors. There are many signs. To remember that is a challenge within itself. So there is a possibility that one can just scan and get the information about that product or about that thing, and somewhat safety precautions we can go there, like by scanning that we can get that. This is the thing. This is the
See,
thing. This.
that is correct. Now the industries are going towards the digitalization. That on one scanning you will get the information about the chemicals or equipments or which is being handled. But and India, I can say that this is on the prima facie stage. It is required so many efforts and so many time that it will adopt this system. It will definitely come in the future that every
Mhm.
organization will work on this by giving the QR code. The information can get in one hand, but at the some places like when you are transferring any chemicals, when the customers is required that we need specific labeling on your particular storage or a particular chemical being handled, at that time we have to uh, fulfill the requirement of this customer also. But QR code, apart from that, it is a good practice that it can be adopted into the industry, that you can get the information on one hand.
Um, but sir, why it is you are saying that the challenging part? Because until and unless I think I'm not a industrial person, better you know because I'm just a student. But until I
Yeah.
think it's a verge of AI, and you know with just the 2 3 clicks you get a QR code of very detailed information. So I think until my calculation, better you know that not within one day, but within 1 week, max to max within 1 month, you can create QR codes of four industry if you want to.
See, what my experiences said that every time QR code will not work. Why I say that? There are so many various type of audits being carried out in the industry. Now there are some standards requirement are there that needs to be followed by the industry. Where I said that labeling is required for your chemical, because what happened, workers, then other people who are laymen, who do not understand this English language or QR code scanning language. For that, it is not at our this stage that we accept this system, QR code system. It is for the well-educated people and for the information people. It is okay, but for the standard requirement, for the auditors requirement, for the customer requirement, this labeling is required. So we cannot say
Okay.
complete. We can go for the QR code into the all industries. It will take a time when a standard is being updating, standard is being reviewing. When auditors will convince with this type of requirement, at the time it will change. But it requires some.
Okay, sir. So it can be adaptive.
It can be adapted, but will take a time, because there are, I said na, there are so many requirements from the customer side, auditor side. We should be the chemical display should be like this. This is standard requirement, so we cannot deny. We have to follow this in industry performance. That's right.
Got it, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone have question? Okay. Thank you, sir, for giving your valuable time. In future, we are expecting more informative sessions from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The all faculties from the government college, Valsad. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Now I request my co-staff, Miss Krishna Madam, to introduce our next session.
Can I leave?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Dear participants, we are waiting for our next expert. Please bear with us for a few minutes. He will join.
सर इथून होऊन जाईल ना इथून जाईल ना मला सांगा फक्त कुठून करायचं याला जे आपण ओपन केलं त्यामध्ये कोर्स कुणाला करायचं
Okay.
नाही येत आहे सर. मुकेश म्हणून कोणी येत नाही.
येते.
देशपांडे सर.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. So our next expert has been joined. Now I request Ms. Krishna to introduce our next expert. Krishna madam, over to you.
Good afternoon. Today, in our second session, we have Mr. Mukesh Chauhan working as a deputy manager at GSFC Vadodara. He is having 12-year experience, industrial experience in the field of chemical industry. He is going to deliver the session on safety and handling of hazardous chemicals. So I am handing over the session to Mr. Mukesh Chauhan.
Mukesh sir, kindly unmute your mic.
क्या थे बोले थे?
हेलो
24 में નથી
अभी
મારે.
सुनाई
Yes.
दे रहा है?
Yeah, हाँ सुनाई दे रहा है मुकेश जी.
ठीक है ठीक है। हेलो गुड आफ्टरनून।
हेलो.
ये पीपीटी ठीक से क्यों नहीं दिख रही है मेहुल? हेलो।
मुकेश जी, ये पीपीटी आपको विजिबल है?
नहीं है विजिबल।
एक मिनट. मैं ये अपडेट करके आपको बताता हूँ. एक ही मिनट होल्ड कीजिए. मुकेश जी, आई होप अभी विजिबल है.
हाँ विजिबल तो है पर विजिबल। हाँ ठीक है ठीक है। वेट
ठीक
वेट।
है.
प्रेजेंटेशन स्टार्ट करो ना। ये क्या है स्लाइड इंडिविजुअल दिख रही है।
हाँ ठीक है, अभी कर दिया है.
हेलो
मुकेश जी
गुड
शुरू.
आफ्टरनून। माय नेम इज मुकेश चौहान and I'm working in GSFC. So today I'm giving presentation on safety and handling of hazardous chemicals. So first of all कोई बताएगा कि केमिकल सेफ्टी क्यों जरूरी है?
हेलो।
to avoid any hazards.
क्या?
To avoid any hazards.
तो हजार्ड्स क्या है पहले तो? ठीक है, मैं बताता हूँ। Chemical safety means handling of chemicals in such a way that it cannot harm you or property, or it cannot compromise your safety. Means chemical safety prevents accidents and injuries while using chemicals in workplace. So chemical safety is very important while handling chemicals, because every chemical has different hazards. Every chemical has different personal protection, requires different protections. So chemical safety is very important. So chemical safety involves three points: knowing chemicals, their hazards, and their necessary protections and safe practices. Okay. So Mehul, next slide कीजिए please. Hello. हाँ. Now, overview of hazardous chemicals. So, what is hazardous chemicals? Hazardous chemicals are substances that presents a risk to health, to your health, safety, and property, and environmental damage. Any chemicals that can cause any of these is considered as hazardous. Okay, so they can be classified into five types. If they have any of the any of these five characteristics, then they can be considered as hazardous. These five characteristics are flammable, toxic, corrosive, explosive, and radioactive. Now, what is flammable chemicals? किसी को पता है? हेलो.
जो केमिकल्स बर्न होता है।
बर्न तो कोई भी केमिकल बर्न हो सकता है, जिसमें अगर एक्सप्लोजिव है वो भी बर्न होता है। तो फ्लेमेबल और एक्सप्लोजिव में फर्क क्या है? फ्लेमेबल केमिकल्स वो है जो स्पेसिफिक रेंज में, अगर उनका वेपर या वो गैस स्पेसिफिक वॉल्यूम के एयर के अंदर स्पेसिफिक वॉल्यूम के अंदर लिमिट में आते हैं, एमईएल या यूएल की रेंज में आते हैं, और अगर उनको इग्निशन सोर्स मिलता है, तो वो केमिकल्स बर्न होते हैं, इसलिए उनको क्या बोलते हैं? फ्लेमेबल केमिकल्स। एक्सप्लोजिव्स में क्या है, अगर उनको जब इग्निशन सोर्स मिलता है तो वो वायलेंटली बर्न होते हैं, and massive amount of energy is released while burning explosive chemicals. So they are called explosives. Now toxic. टॉक्सिक केमिकल्स कौन है? जो केमिकल आपको टॉक्सिक मीन्स आपके हेल्थ, आपकी लाइफ के लिए डेंजरस है, मीन्स आपको पॉइजनियस है आपके लिए। these chemicals are called toxic chemicals. And corrosive chemicals can cause irritation to your skin or to your body. And radioactive chemicals can cause has the potential uh, to give cancer. Okay, so these are five types of chemicals. Now hazards associated with that chemicals are three: health hazard, physical hazard, and environmental hazard. मेरे नेक्स्ट स्लाइड दीजिए। हाँ, अभी केमिकल्स के साथ नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट hazards associated with chemicals. केमिकल्स को तीन हजार के हिसाब से डिवाइड कर सकते हैं: हेल्थ हजार के हिसाब से, फिजिकल हजार के हिसाब से, और एनवायरमेंटल हजार के हिसाब से। हेल्थ हजार्ड्स में क्या होगा कि केमिकल कैन कॉज सीवियर मेडिकल कंडीशन ड्यू टू एक्सपोजर ड्यूरिंग हैंडलिंग। हैंडलिंग के टाइम पे अगर उसके प्रिकॉशंस ना लिए जाए तो इट कैन कॉज सीरियस मेडिकल कंडीशंस। सो इट कैन कॉज माइल्ड इरिटेशन, पॉइजनिंग, और ऑर्गन डैमेज, or it can cause irritation to your body or allergic reactions, or carcinogens can cause cancer development in your body. So handling of chemicals is very important. It can enter your body via ingestion, inhalation, skin contact, and absorption, as you can see in this slide. Okay, if you chemical is entering your body via mouth, then it is called ingestion. If it is entering your body via breathing, then it is called inhalation. So chemicals can enter to in your body by any of these means. So be careful while while handling chemicals. Now next, physical hazards. Physical hazards means chemicals which can cause physical damage to your body or to your property or environment. Okay, so physical hazards can be classified as flammability hazards, explosive hazards, reactivity hazards, and corrosive hazards. Okay, so flammability hazards, these chemicals can cause ignite and burn, leading to fire. And explosivity means releasing large amount of energy on burning leads to explosion. And reactivity, they can undergo hazardous reactions such as combustion and decomposition and violent reactions with other substances. If they mix with other incompatible substances, then they can violently react with each other and cause very harmful effects to humans and adjacent area. And corrosive chemicals can corrode metals, cause skin irritation, eye irritation, tissue, even tissue damage also. Then comes to environmental hazard. Environmental hazard means pollution of environment, contamination of natural resources, and bioaccumulation in your ecosystem. Okay, so chemical spills, leakages, improper disposal can lead to environmental pollutions. Okay, contaminating air, water, and soil, and it can contaminate air, water, and soil. Okay, and contamination, hazardous chemicals can contaminate natural resources, wildlife habitats, and food chains, posing risk to ecosystems. And bioaccumulations, some chemicals can bioaccumulate in environment and accumulate in living organisms. अभी हमने केमिकल के टाइप्स देख लिए, हजार्ड्स एसोसिएटेड विथ केमिकल्स देख लिए. अभी उसको हजार्ड्स कोई भी हर केमिकल के इंडिविजुअल हजार्ड्स होते हैं, तो वो हजार्ड्स को आइडेंटिफाई कैसे करेंगे. अभी अभी आगे का जो लेक्चर गया उसमें आपने हजार्ड कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में हुआ है, हजार्ड कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में, तो उसके ही दो तीन मैंने एग्जांपल्स यहाँ पे बताए हैं कि कोई भी केमिकल है तो देख के तो पता चलता नहीं कि वो क्या है, उसमें क्या हजार्ड्स है. ठीक है, तो उसके लिए पर्टिकुलर सिस्टम्स डेवलप की हुई है जिससे आपको केमिकल्स के बारे में पता चले कि उसके अंदर स्पेसिफिक क्या हजार्ड्स है. तो उसमें से एक फर्स्ट एनएफपीए का रेटिंग सिस्टम है. हजार डायमंड बोलते हैं उसको, या एनएफपीए डायमंड भी बोलते हैं उसको. उसमें थ्री फोर सेक्शंस होते हैं. फोर सेक्शंस का हर एक का अलग अलग इम्पोर्टेंस होता है. एक फायर के लिए है, या येलो रिएक्टिविटी के लिए है, थ्री स्पेसिफिक हजार, ये वाइट
नो सर.
स्पेसिफिक हजार्ड्स के लिए, और थ्री हेल्थ हजार्ड के लिए. ठीक है, तो ये देख के भी कोई भी इंसान पता कर सकता है कि ये केमिकल के साथ पर्टिकुलरली क्या हजार्ड्स एसोसिएटेड है, तो उसको कैसे हैंडल करना है. दूसरा एक है ये ग्लोबली हार्मोनाइज सिस्टम्स, पिक्टोग्राम्स. पिक्टोग्राम्स में क्या है कि स्पेसिफिक केमिकल के साथ स्पेसिफिक हजार्ड्स का सिंबल दिया हुआ होता है. भी एक्सप्लोसिव केमिकल्स है तो उसके लिए अलग साइन आता है. फ्लेमेबल केमिकल्स के लिए अलग साइन आता है. तो उससे हमको पता चल जाता है कि ये कौन सी कैटेगरी में आता है. फिजिकल हजार्ड्स की कैटेगरी में आता है, हेल्थ हजार्ड की कैटेगरी में आता है, एनवायरमेंटल हजार्ड्स की कैटेगरी में आता है. ओके, ना और लास्ट थिंग के एमएसडीएस, इसको आप पूरा क्या बोलते हैं, केमिकल का पूरा बायोडेटा बोल सकते हैं. किसी भी केमिकल का आइडेंटिफिकेशन क्या है, वो केमिकल के अंदर हजार्ड्स क्या है, उसके अंदर फर्स्ट एड के और फायर फाइटिंग के मेजर्स क्या होने चाहिए, अगर एक्सीडेंटल रिलीज होता है तो उसमें क्या मेजर्स होने चाहिए, हैंडलिंग और स्टोरेज उसका कैसे करना है, एक्सपोजर होता है तो पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव इक्विपमेंट्स कैसे यूज करने हैं, केमिकल और फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज उसकी क्या है, उसकी रिएक्टिविटी और टॉक्सिकोलॉजिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन भी उसमें अवेलेबल है. मतलब अगर किसी भी केमिकल का बायोडेटा हो तो मीन्स उसको एमएसडीएस उसका एक बायोडेटा है. तो उससे आपको किसी भी केमिकल का पूरा नॉलेज हो सकता है कि उसको कैसे हैंडल करना है. अभी हजार्ड्स पता चल गए, अभी उसको कंट्रोल कैसे करें. कंट्रोल करने के लिए एक पूरा सिस्टम है, इसमें 5 पॉइंट्स आते हैं. फर्स्ट है एलिमिनेशन. नेक्स्ट का ये हजार्ड कंट्रोल पे ले जाओ मेहुल. मेहुल, हेलो.
मुकेश,
हाँ,
वही है, नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट स्लाइड ही है.
नहीं उसके बाद में हजार्ड कंट्रोल पे.
ओके,
नाउ वी हजार्ड कंट्रोल. हजार्ड पता चल गया। अभी हजार्ड को कंट्रोल कैसे करें? तो हजार्ड कंट्रोल के लिए 5 स्टेप्स है। इसके पहले ये इसके बाद वाला हजार्ड कंट्रोल। नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट, हाँ ये ओके। अभी ये देख के किसी को कुछ समझ में आ रहा है क्या है ये? कैन आई एबडी टेल व्हाट इज दिस? हेलो? हेलो?
Participants can interact with the expert. If they know, they can tell.
कैन एनीबडी टेल व्हाट इज दिस? कुछ समझ में आ रहा है इसको देख के? कुछ जो समझ में आ रहा है
Hazard
बोलिए।
control triangle. Hazard control triangle.
हाँ हाँ, हजार्ड कंट्रोल ट्रायंगल पे
तो
उसमें
हम
क्या
देख
दिखा है?
सर पीपी किट्स है, तो आपको आपकी पीपी किट्स है, उसके बाद आपके पास एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कंट्रोल, जो कंट्रोल्स आपके डीसीएस पैनल एंड वो सब में होते हैं। फिर इंजीनियरिंग कंट्रोल्स जो हमारे हाथ में होते हैं। इसके बाद सब्स्टिट्यूशन, लाइक अगर कुछ हो रहा है आपको उसको रिप्लेसमेंट करना है या ऐसा कुछ, तो
हम्म,
सब्स्टिट्यूशन एंड एलिमिनेशन। अब उसका सब्स्टिट्यूशन पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, आपको उसको
हम्म,
रिप्लेस भी नहीं कर सकते, आपको उसको पूरा नया करना पड़ेगा, तो एलिमिनेशन।
हम्म। बस तो ये जो बताया कौन तौसीफ तौसीफ ना आप?
यस सर।
हाँ, तो आपने बताया वो सही है। फर्स्ट इसमें क्या है, ऊपर से नीचे जाते हैं। जनरली क्या होता है कि केमिकल को हैंडल करने के लिए लोग ऐसा सोचते हैं कि पीपीई पहन लिया तो हो गया। बट पीपीई इज कंसिडर्ड एज लास्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। कभी भी पीपीई से आप हजार्ड से बच नहीं सकते। उसमें नंबर ऑफ स्टेप्स आते हैं। सबसे पहला स्टेप आता है एलिमिनेशन। वही हजार्ड के केमिकल के हैंडलिंग के अंदर एलिमिनेशन मीन्स आपको कोई केमिकल यूज करना है वो हजार्ड से, तो आपको आपको वो केमिकल यूज करना है तो एलिमिनेट करना तो पॉसिबल नहीं है। तो नेक्स्ट स्टेप आता है सब्स्टिट्यूट। आप वो केमिकल को एक्सचेंज कर सकते हैं कोई लेस हैजार्डस केमिकल से, ठीक है। और मोस्ट ऑफ केस में वो पॉसिबिलिटीज बहुत कम होती है। ऐसा नहीं है कि हम एक्सचेंज नहीं कर सकते, पर बहुत सारे केमिकल्स सबका अलग अलग प्रॉपर्टीज होता है, तो आप उसको इंटरचेंज तो करके यूज नहीं कर सकते। तो नेक्स्ट आता है इंजीनियरिंग कंट्रोल। दिस कंट्रोल इज कंसिडर्ड एज फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। ये इंजीनियरिंग कंट्रोल्स में क्या होता है कि आप अगर वर्क प्लेस पे काम कर रहे हो तो वेंटिलेशन सिस्टम्स है, आपके से इमरजेंसी सेफ्टी रिलीज डिवाइसेस है, प्रोसेस में मॉडिफिकेशन किया है, या कोई आप कोई केमिकल को हैंडल करना है उसके लिए कोई ऑटोमेशन दिया है जिससे आप रिमोटली उसको हैंडल कर सकते हैं। तो ये सब क्या है, इंजीनियरिंग कंट्रोल्स है। ये कंट्रोल सबसे पहले आते हैं। अगर ये है, फिर उसके बाद में आते हैं एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कंट्रोल्स। एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कंट्रोल्स में क्या होगा, तो कोई केमिकल को आपको हैंडल करना है तो उसको कैसे हैंडल करना है, उसकी सेफ्टी स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर्स होंगी। फिर उसके लिए कॉज एंड साइनेज बनाए होंगे, फिर ट्रेनिंग्स दी होंगी, फिर उसके लिए क्या क्या प्रिकॉशंस लेने वो सब दिए होंगे, ठीक है। तो वो है एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कंट्रोल। पर वो इतना इफेक्टिव होता नहीं है। जनरली इंजीनियरिंग कंट्रोल्स सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव होते हैं। अगर वो फेल होते हैं तो फिर उसके बाद में लास्ट में आता है क्या, पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव इक्विपमेंट्स। पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव इक्विपमेंट्स में आप कोई भी केमिकल के लिए स्पेसिफिक चीज़ें यूज करके उसको हैंडल कर सकते हैं। पर वो लास्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस है। उसको कभी भी ऐसा यूज नहीं कर सकते कि भाई हाँ मैंने केमिकल के लिए प्रोडक्ट ये पीपीस पहन लिया तो हो गया, ऐसा नहीं होता है। फर्स्ट ये आगे के अगर फेल होते हैं तो लास्ट में आ जाके पीपीस आपको प्रोटेक्ट करता है, ठीक है। तो हमेशा केयरलेस होना नहीं है। जब भी केमिकल्स को यूज करें तो ये सब चीज़ों को ध्यान में रखकर ही केमिकल्स को हैंडल करना चाहिए। नाउ अभी केमिकल हैंडलिंग के गाइडलाइंस। केमिकल्स को हैंडल करने के लिए केयरलेस होना इज वेरी डेंजरस टू यू। मीन्स आप चांस नहीं ले सकते कि ये तो दिख एकदम नॉर्मल दिख रहा है, कुछ स्मेल नहीं आ रहा है, कोई वेपर नहीं निकल रहा है, तो उसको इजीली ऐसे ही हाथ से पकड़ लिया। ये इट कैन बी डेंजरस। सो कंसिडर और केमिकल, जो केमिकल्स के ऊपर कोई लेबल नहीं है या उसके ऊपर कोई डेटा नहीं दिया हुआ है, तो भले ही पानी ही क्यों ना हो, पर उसको हजारस कंसिडर करना करना चाहिए। क्योंकि सब केमिकल्स देख के नहीं आप पता कर सकते कि वो हजारस है कि नहीं है। उसके ऊपर दिए हुए डेटा से आपको पता चलेगा कि वो हजारस है कि नहीं। तो ऑलवेज उसको हैंडल करने से पहले उसके ऊपर दिए हुए लेबल्स रीड कीजिए, एमएसडीएस रीड कीजिए। उसके लिए। फिर उसके अकॉर्डिंगली पीपीईस को यूज़ कीजिए, और जब भी यूज़ करें तो प्रॉपर वेंटिलेशन में यूज़ कीजिए। और कभी भी केमिकल्स को मिक्स मत कीजिए, क्योंकि हर एक केमिकल्स का अलग अलग कैरेक्टरिस्टिक होता है। सब केमिकल्स को साथ में यूज नहीं सकता, मिक्स नहीं कर सकते। अगर आप फ्लेमेबल केमिकल को ऑक्सीडाइजर के साथ यूज करोगे तो 100% चांसेस है कि आप थोड़ा भी इग्निशन मिलेगा तो वो फायर पकड़ ही लेगा, और वायलेंटली फायर पकड़ेगा। ठीक है, तो नेवर मिक्स केमिकल्स। और ऐसा अपने सेंस और स्मेल पे नहीं रहना है कि हाँ भाई ये तो दिख नहीं है, अच्छा दिख रहा है और स्मेल भी नहीं आ रहा है तो यूज कर लिया। अपने ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस कैन बी वेरी रिस्की। सो और केमिकल्स को हमेशा सेफली स्टोर कीजिए, डिस्पेंस कीजिए या डिस्पोज कीजिए। ठीक है, और प्रॉपर लेबल्स लगाइए और प्रॉपर सेग्रीगेट करके उसको डेजिग्नेटेड प्लेस पे उसको स्टोर कीजिए। ठीक है, डू नॉट स्टोर केमिकल्स नियर हीट और सनलाइट और नियर सब्सटेंसेस, ओके, which might initiate a dangerous reactions if combined. Minimize your exposure to any chemical regardless of its hazard rating. अगर कोई केमिकल का hazard rating कम है, सिर्फ माइल्ड इरिटेशन का दे सकता है, तो ऐसा नहीं कि उसको सिर्फ नॉर्मल ग्लव्स लेके हैंडल कर लिया। ऐसा नहीं करना है। एकदम मिनिमम एक्सपोजर हो ऐसा उसके लिए जो पर्टिकुलर पीपी चाहिए वो लेना ही है, और उसके बाद ही उसको यूज करना है। And first, most important, avoid repeated exposure to any chemical in unprotected environment. किसी भी केमिकल को का रिपीटेड एक्सपोजर नहीं करना है। एंड अगर लीकेज होता है तो वो उसको इमीडिएटली क्लीन करना है और लीकेज को एलिमिनेट करना है। और उसको लीकेज को क्लीन करने के लिए स्पिल प्रोसीजर्स प्रोवाइडेड की हुई होती है, वो यूज़ करना है। अभी एमएनसी प्रोसीजर्स क्या होती है केमिकल्स के साथ वो पता होनी जरूरी है। इससे पहले वाला केमिकल हैंडलिंग गाइडलाइंस जो उसमें फर्स्ट वाला, हाँ इसमें अभी इसमें केमिकल स्पिल्स एंड फायर। केमिकल्स एमएनसी केमिकल स्पिल्स का और फायर का एमएनसी पता होना चाहिए। इफ यू आर एक्सपोज टू केमिकल्स तो उसके लिए क्या करेक्टिव एक्शंस लेने चाहिए वो पता होना चाहिए, और फर्स्ट एड मेजर्स क्या है वो भी पता होने चाहिए हमको। ठीक है, अभी केमिकल को ट्रांसपोर्ट करते टाइम या नेक्स्ट मेहुल नेक्स्ट ट्रांसपोर्ट करते टाइम और स्टोरेज करते टाइम क्या क्या चीज़ें ध्यान में रखनी चाहिए। तो उसमें 5 पॉइंट्स है। अवॉइड ट्रांसपोर्टिंग, नेवर ट्रांसपोर्ट hazardous chemical with food. If any container is used for transporting food, then it can't be used for handling for transporting chemicals or chemical. Or if any container is used for handling chemicals, then it can't be used for handling food. So this most important. Avoid transporting hazardous chemicals with food. Next, follow the hazardous food segregation rules and carrying or storing mixed classes of hazardous chemicals. Never store or transport इनकम्पेटेबल केमिकल्स टुगेदर। एज जैसे मैंने आपको बोला केमिकल मिक्स नहीं करने, मतलब इनकम्पेटेबल केमिकल्स जो उनको साथ में नहीं रहना चाहिए। नेवर स्टोर, जैसे कि फ्लेमेबल, नेवर स्टोर फ्लेमेबल एंड ऑक्सीडाइजिंग मटेरियल्स टुगेदर। फ्लेमेबल एंड ऑक्सीडाइजिंग मटेरियल को साथ में स्टोर नहीं कर सकते। नेवर स्टोर फ्लेमेबल मटेरियल्स इन स्टोर फ्लेमेबल मटेरियल्स इन सुटेबल कंटेनर्स अवे फ्रॉम इग्निशन सोर्स। फ्लेमेबल मटेरियल्स को हमेशा इग्निशन सोर्स से अवे रख के ही स्टोर करना चाहिए। ठीक है, और सेम क्लास के हजार सेम क्लासिफिकेशन वाले हजार्स केमिकल्स को जनरली एक साथ में स्टोर कर सकते हैं। स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड्स को, स्ट्रॉन्ग बेसिस को भी कभी साथ में स्टोर नहीं कर सकते। और टॉक्सिक सब्सटेंसेस है या रेडियो एक्टिव सब्सटेंसेस है तो उनको कन्फाइंड स्पेस में सेपरेटली स्टोर करना चाहिए। ठीक है, फिर कभी भी अगर केमिकल्स को ट्रांसपोर्ट करें तो उसको प्रॉपरली सिक्योर्ड कंटेनर्स में ही ट्रांसपोर्ट करना है, और उसके ऊपर पर्टिकुलर साइंस लेबल्स दिए होने चाहिए। अगर स्टोरेज का टैंक है तो उसके ऊपर भी पर्टिकुलरली उसके ऊपर एसकेएम के केबल लेबल्स होने चाहिए। टैंकर है तो उसके ऊपर भी एसकेएम के लेबल होने चाहिए। और अगर ट्रांसपोर्टिंग कर रहे हो तो ट्रांसपोर्ट कंटेनर के साथ में ट्रैम कार्ड देना चाहिए। ट्रैम कार्ड क्या है, तो नीचे मेल नेक्स्ट स्लाइड कीजिए। हाँ, ये क्या है, ये एसकेएम का पैनल है। ये किसी ने देखा है क्या? लो, हाईवे पे जाते टाइम किसी ने केमिकल के टैंकर के ऊपर ये देखा है क्या?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, हाँ, ये क्या है? तो ये है हेस्केम का पैनल। कोई भी टैंकर अगर केमिकल कैरी कर रहा है तो उसके अंदर क्या है, कैसे पता चलेगा? जो लेके जा रहा है उसको पता होगा और जिसने सप्लाई किया उसको पता होगा। अगर आप उसके साइड में से जा रहे हो तो आपको कैसे पता होगा? अगर टैंकर टैंकर के साथ एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो आपको क्या करना है? तो ये जो है, इसके इससे आपको पता चलेगा कि उसके अंदर क्या है, कौन सा केमिकल है, उसका एसकेएम का कोड क्या है, अगर इमरजेंसी हुआ तो किसको कॉल करना है और उसके लिए स्पेशल एडवाइजेस क्या है, और उसके साथ क्या हजार्ड्स एसोसिएटेड है, वो ये आपको साइन से दिए पता चलेंगे। ठीक है, तो ये एसकेएम का केमिकल हमेशा प्रोवाइड करना जरूरी है अगर आप ट्रांसपोर्ट कर रहे हैं किसी भी केमिकल्स को। और दूसरा ट्रेम कार्ड। ट्रेम कार्ड क्या है? तो ट्रांसपोर्ट इमरजेंसी कार्ड इसको बोलते हैं। इसके अंदर आपको पोटेंशियल हजार्ड्स क्या है केमिकल के साथ वो दिया होगा, उसका प्रॉपर नेम दिए होंगे। उसमें ये क्या है कि आपका मीन्स इसमें A to Z सब इंफॉर्मेशन दी हुई होती है जो एमएनसी के टाइम पे रिक्वायर्ड है। अगर ट्रैक्टर अगर आपका हजार्डस केमिकल कंटेनिंग व्हीकल के साथ कुछ होता है तो उसके अंदर अगर ये फर्स्ट एड की मेजर्स क्या है, एमएनसी रिस्पॉन्स में क्या करना है, फिर स्पेशल इंफॉर्मेशन उसके अकॉर्डिंग, फिर एमएनसी सर्विसेज में क्या करना है, वो सब इसमें दिया हुआ होता है। तो ट्रेम कार्ड इज मस्ट to carry while transporting any hazardous chemicals with you. Okay. Now emergency response। अगर अभी लीकेज होता है तो क्या करेंगे? केमिकल्स अगर हैंडल करते लीकेज होना, तो इस कॉमन हो लीकेज होना होगा ही हो आपसे। कोई भी अगर मिस्टेक हुआ तो केमिकल लीकेज होने का चांसेस है, तो क्या करेंगे? तो इमीडिएटली एरिया को इवैक्यूएट करना है। उसके उसके क्या बोलते हैं, पैरामीटर में जो भी एरिया आता है उसको सबको इवैक्यूएट करना है। इमरजेंसी पर्सनल को ही वहाँ पे रहने का परमिशन देना है। फिर पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव इक्विपमेंट यूज कर बगैर सीधा अंदर घुस नहीं जाना है कि भाई अगर लीकेज हुआ तो वो वाल्व बंद करने के लिए सीधा घुस गए। ऐसा नहीं करना है। Always use personal protective equipments. Never enter a contaminated space without protection. Okay. If the situation is potentially volatile, means flammable chemical अगर स्पिलेज होता है तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एरिया को इवैक्यूएट करना है। फिर वेंटिलेशन देना है। और फिर फर्स्ट और उसके बाद सोर्स जो है जहाँ से केमिकल लीक हुआ है उसको एलिमिनेट करना है। और फिर इग्निशन सोर्स ना मिले उसका पूरा ध्यान रखना है। ठीक है। फिर लीकेज जो है उसको क्लीन करना है तो उसके लिए स्पेशल इक्विपमेंट्स आते हैं, एड्जॉर्बेंट्स और मटेरियल्स आते हैं जिससे आप स्पिलेज को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं और फिर उसको कंट्रोल करके एब्जॉर्ब करके उसको डिस्कार्ड कर सकते हैं और फिर एरिया को क्लीन कर सकते हैं। और वो सब होने के बाद एरिया को आपको क्लीन करना है। अगर नेक्स्ट इमरजेंसी रिस्पॉन्स में फर्स्ट एड। अगर आप एक्सपोज होते हैं केमिकल से, तो अगर आइस पे एक्सपोज हुआ या स्किन पे एक्सपोज हुआ या इनहेलेशन हुआ या स्वेलो कर दिया, स्पिलेज हुआ है, कर्व भी हुआ, तो क्या करना है? तो अगर आइस पे होता है तो आपको वाटर से 15 मिनट्स तक वॉश करना है। अगर स्किन पे कांटेक्ट हुआ तो भी अब थर्ली वाटर वाटर वॉश करना है। इनहेल हुआ तो रिमूव टू उसको फ्रेश एयर में लेके जाना है पेशेंट को। और ब्रीदिंग इंश्योर करना है। ठीक है। और स्वेलो किया तो उसको इमीडिएट मेडिकल अटेंशन देना है। स्पीलेज हुआ तो जैसे मैंने आपको आगे बताया ऐसे उसको पर्टिकुलर प्रोसीजर्स को फॉलो करके उसको क्लीन करना है। और करोसिव केमिकल्स को अगर इनहेल इंजेस्टेड हो गया है तो आपको कभी भी उसको वॉमिट नहीं करवानी, क्योंकि करोसिव केमिकल्स कैन कॉज सीवियर बर्न्स टू योर इंटरनल बॉडी वॉल्स। सो उसको हमेशा कभी भी वॉमिट नहीं करवानी है। उसको हमेशा पानी और ग्लास ऑफ वाटर देना है और अगर और मेडिकल अटेंशन देना है। तो लास्टली कंक्लूजन क्या है कि प्रिवेंट केमिकल एक्सीडेंट्स एंड इंजरीज ड्यूरिंग हैंडलिंग। तो कैसे करेंगे? तो नो व्हाट यू आर हैंडलिंग। आप कौन सा केमिकल हैंडल कर रहे हो उसके बारे में नॉलेज रखो। उसके साथ क्या हजार्ड एसोसिएटेड है और उसको कैसे अवॉइड करना है वो उसके बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन रखो। और सेफ वर्क प्रैक्टिसेस को फॉलो कीजिए। और सेफ्टी को हमेशा प्राइम इम्पोर्टेंस दीजिए। जिससे सेफ्टी फर्स्ट एटीट्यूड आपको ऑल द टाइम रखना है। ठीक है। थैंक यू। मैं अभी यहीं पे ख़त्म करता हूँ। अगर किसी को कोई डाउट हो तो पूछ सकते हैं।
Thank you, Mukesh sir. काफ़ी इंटरेक्टिव और नॉलेजेबल सेशन था. नाउ वी आर ओपन फॉर क्वेश्चंस. पार्टिसिपेंट्स, प्लीज आस्क योर क्वेश्चंस.
सर दिस टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स जो हमें प्रिकॉशंस लेना पड़ते हैं केमिकल सेफ्टी एंड हैजार्ड मैनेजमेंट के लिए, सर वो मेम्ब्रेन टेक्नोलॉजी में कितना बड़ा चैलेंज है, आप वो बता सकते हैं?
क्या
अभी
फिर
वो
से
डेवलपिंग
करेंगे?
स्टेज में है.
हेलो।
सर
हाँ
मेम्ब्रेन
जी।
टेक्नोलॉजी एक अलग ब्रांच एक डेवलप हो रही है,
हाँ हाँ।
आपको पता होगा. तो सर
हाँ हाँ।
अभी हमें ये सब प्रिकॉशंस लेना पड़ते हैं इन ये हैंडल हैंडल करने के लिए केमिकल हैजार्डियस केमिकल एंड ऑल. वो कितना
हम्म।
बड़ा चैलेंज है मेम्ब्रेन टेक्नोलॉजी के डेवलपमेंट में?
वही तौसीफ, मेमोरी टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में मुझे कुछ ज़्यादा नॉलेज नहीं है, तो मैं आपको एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू उसका उसके बारे में बता नहीं पाऊंगा, क्योंकि अगर पता होता तो मैं आपको उसके बारे में बताया, आपको गलत इन्फॉर्मेशन देके कोई मीनिंग नहीं है।
ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम सर, थैंक यू
हम्म।
सर.
हम्म।
Any other questions? If there are any other questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, sir. I think there are no more questions from the participants. Thank you
ओके।
very much, Mukesh sir.
थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग मी दिस चांस।
Yeah. So we will end this session here. And
ओके।
feedback and questions, if anybody has, they can share me in the link. We will give your questions to expert, and probably they will answer it, and we will share back to it.
ओके।
Thank you all.